Welcome to episode 68 of the Champagne Comedy Podcast, where we talk about the best Australian comedy show from the 90s ever made, Frontline, and other D-Generation comedy tidbits. My name is Matt, and joining us on this podcast today is Alison, Daniel, Kim, and Prue. Wait, hold on. Hey. Oh, wait, one sec. One sec. Hold on. Wait, I'm going to say that again. You think I'm joking, but I'm not. My name is Matt, and joining us on this podcast today is Alison, Daniel, Kim, and Prue.
Yay!
Wow.
So great to be back, guys.
So, Prue's alive. She didn't desert us.
Finally at home on a Saturday night.
As I tell everyone that this has been a COVID podcast. So, and now that everyone's got lives again and so forth, we're still continuing on. Prue got a life. So
yeah, it's great to be back with you guys.
Yes. And later on as well, we'll have another special guest co-host, but they're currently working. I won't say where because I'm not sure if I'm allowed to mention that or not. Yeah, welcome back, Prue. And geez, we have so much in this episode today. So it might be actually split up into two. One with this entire regular episode review, but also something which everyone is keen to hear out for, and I'll mention that in a second. All right, let's get the negative stuff out of the way, and unfortunately we did lose someone who has featured on this podcast unofficially, or officially, but has helped. Good old celebrity stooge Philip Brady.
Yeah, very sad.
Yeah, you might think of him as sort of like the ninth member of the Late Show, perhaps. That's how often he was on.
And he just retired recently, and then.
Well, yeah, basically he retired the night after we recorded our previous episode. You know, via pre-recorded announcement, and then about a week later, he passed away from pancreatic cancer.
And no, I did not kill him, because he's already been on the podcast, okay? So I have that tendency of trying to get certain people on and they magically depart this mortal coil. But he was on the Late Show numerous times. On IMDb, he was featured 3 times, but I actually counted, and that was 6. So whoever is looking after the IMDb page or has access, please update it. All the details are...
Fix it up, Tony Martin.
Yes, champagnecomedy.com. If you look on there, I've already written the article and provided screen grabs and the episodes that he featured in. But Working Dog did post something briefly, just a little tribute. But here's a little bit of Philip Brady.
Oh, look, it's just not the same without Mick here. Joe upstairs, can we please bring in the emergency sidekick? Can we do that, please? Can we do Mr. Philip Brady!
Coming in from the ceiling.
Great to see you. It's Philip Brady. Well done. Well, thanks for coming along. Well, you know, how long have you been up there?
22 weeks I've been sitting up there waiting to
We finally got round here.
22 weeks.
Okay,
and it's really good to be... Oh, what a show we've got tonight, folks. We've got the Commercial Crime Stoppers Awards for you.
Yep.
We have the Countdown Classics to look forward to. There's Graham and the Colonel. The Oldies finale. Bobby Frente. And
That's the one!
What's that?
That's the one!
Oh, my God.
Officer! It's him, Philbo! Phil Brady, he left this lying menacingly in the hallway. Didn't you, Philbo? I told Graham Kennedy warned me about this. He said you're doing it to get your mate on telly.
All right, Mick,
What'd you do it for? What'd you do it for, Philbo?
I confess, it's true, Mick, it's true. But it wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for those meddling kids. It wouldn't have happened. I can't believe it.
Thanks. Take it away.
Someone who knows how to take the piss out of himself.
Yeah, he was great on the Late Show.
And quite comfortable to be the second banana, mainly to Mick and Jason.
Well, so Valet Philbo or Flipper. Or whatever nickname, Celebrity Stooge.
His funeral has been announced, a mass and celebration of his life. It's at 11 a.m. Thursday, 27th of February at the Sacred Heart Church, Cottam Road, Kew. According to the announcement, it was his wish that Philip Brady badges be worn and ladies encouraged to wear hats. That sounds like a joke, but that's what the announcement on TV Tonight said. And it'll also be webcast, link to be provided closer to the date. It seems sort of unfair to sort of compare this to, the state funerals of some of his peers, but somehow I feel that's the way he would have wanted it, especially considering he had sort of kept his illness private as well.
Yeah, there was something that happened recently in between this episode and our previous episode of episode 67, and Working Dog won Hall of Fame or the Longford Lyle Award at the Actors that was held on the Gold Coast. So here's a bit of a snippet.
It's been a privilege and a joy to work with them, and it's an honour to introduce the recipients of the Longford Lyle Award.
Please welcome Working Dog, Rob Sitch, Tom Gleisner, Jane Kennedy, Michael Hirsch and Santo Celaro.
We don't take this for granted. We know that storytelling is an absolute privilege, but stories don't mean anything at all unless you have someone to tell them to. So our biggest thanks goes to our audience, because they've been with us for so many years and supported us for all this time, and we really, really do appreciate you. So thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you so much once again. It's rare to be able to work with your friends, rarer still to keep them, but 30 plus years on, the five of us are still together, still making each other laugh, and hopefully there's a bit more to come yet. Thanks so much.
Yay.
That whole speech is on YouTube on the Working Dog channel, and it's worth watching because they thank their old D-Gen colleagues, they thank the Late Show team, and there's a lot more to it. So yeah, it was a really lovely speech, and congratulations to them.
Yes.
Yeah. There's also a very blink and you'll miss it appearance in the montage of Working Dog.
I know where this is going.
Yes, Mr. Golfomatic himself, Michael Hirsch.
Yes, indeed.
Which I loved seeing that little. Nobody else would have known apart from us and whoever listens to us.
Yeah.
I think that was also the only clip from the Late Show because, of course, that wasn't a Working Dog production.
No, but they have to include Hershey in something at least, because he stays behind the scenes.
Shows his face, yeah.
And so he always appeared in the Late Show.
Is that his only on-camera role, perhaps?
Yet.
There was more any questions for Ben in that montage than there was of Michael Hirsch.
There was a lot, wasn't there?
Like, what?
Like, remember this
too much.
There was a blink of Audrey's Kitchen as well, and Pacific Heat.
Oh, that's great.
Blinks and miss it. Speaking of nerdiness and, only people who would get if Michael Hirsch was in there. If you tuned in, because it was held on the Gold Coast, but I managed to this is self-promotion, egotistical bit here, so I do apologise. Feel free to skip this for 1 minute and 14 seconds. But here's some publicity that we managed to get on ABC 612 Brisbane, thanks to one Spencer Housen.
The 2025 Actor Longford Lyle Award was presented to the trailblazing team behind Working Dog production: Santo Celaro, Tom Gleisner, Jane Kennedy, Michael Hirsch and Rob Sitch. The Longford Lyle Award recognises Australian screen practitioners who inspire others through their work. And this, of course, is the team behind The Late Show, The Castle, The Dish, The Panel, amongst other things.
Hello, I'm Mike Moore. Welcome to Frontline.
There's a panel discussion with Santo and Tom and Jane and Rob and Michael at the Home of the Arts at Hotter on the Gold Coast. They'll be in conversation with Ed Cavalier from 11 o'clock this morning. From memory, I'm not going to be there. My wife got tickets. I think they were $12, something like that. So you could get online and see if there are any left. In the audience also will be Working Dog superfan Matt Fulton. Matt is such a big fan, he hosts a podcast which is meticulously analysing every episode of every show ever produced by Working Dog. Matt, welcome to 612 ABC Brisbane.
Good morning, Spencer.
Now, I've been lucky enough to be on 2 episodes of your Champagne Comedy podcast, one where we discussed a Late Show episode, another where we discussed an episode of Frontline. So I know the detail with which you dissect every scene, every sketch.
And it goes on for another 8-9 minutes. But I won't put that in there. But yeah, so thanks, Spencer, for the nice shout out there and plug. But I trying to segue in this because as he was reviewing the actors, and Robbie Williams was there because they won Best Film or whatever for Better Man, and then he was doing his speech, which was quite lighthearted, and people were laughing at it until it was actually quite serious. But there was a part where Robbie Williams had said penis on TV, and so Spencer had played that little grab of Robbie saying penis on ABC, and then this kind of happened.
There's a text here that says, with no name on it, typical ABC smut. Is that because Robbie Williams said penis?
Hello? Yes, I'd like to complain.
There we go.
Nice to know it's still going strong.
Yeah. So that happened. And I had reached out to the Working Dog people to try and see if I could get an interview with them for the podcast, either before or after. And actors were politely declined because everyone else was not going to have that access either. So every article that you see from other news sites and all that, they were sitting there scribbling things down, writing everything down. And I actually met a couple of people too there who are part of the Champagne Comedy podcast virtually, who I've met before I've met everyone else here. So, which was Mason Hellcat and Adele K. Thomas. So it was really cool to meet them. But we were waiting at the front, just having a chat, and then I've got video footage which I'll put up on champagnecomedy.com's YouTube channel. So look out for that. And I did actually bump into Michael Hirsch and Santo Cilara, as well as Rob Sitch, but I couldn't get a photo or anything because they all had to rush to the airport. But this is what Michael Hirsch had to say, and without even asking, right, you'll hear it in a second, but he answered a question that is never spoken about, but we all ask. Michael Hershey. So
hey, hi guys.
Can I get you on the podcast sometime?
Oh, maybe, but can I tell you one of the questions I know you guys are asking about? Why can't we release The Late Show, the whole series?
Yes, please.
There's a very simple reason. Legal. We can't get permission to release it all. That's why there is the Champagne edition and the best bits. They are legally cleared. The other bits, we're trying to do it bit by bit, but at this stage it's looking really, really tough. So if you've got a VHS of the series and it's complete, you're a very lucky person.
Oh, so there you go. You heard it from the fifth Beatle himself.
Big best.
Yes, and also you had rhinoceros semen rubbed into your head as well.
Oh yeah, exactly. Look at that.
Yeah, sorry, just bringing up some old horrible past. Yeah, there's something obscure. So that's the reason
just
why.
as we suspected.
Yeah.
No excuses, Hershey. We still want it released.
Mr. Golfomatic
Find
himself.
a way.
Yeah.
Yeah, even if it's accidentally was released, that's
accidentally was released. No.
Who's going to sue them, right? Okay, this is what I want to know. If you just put them all out there, who's going to be the sad sack pedant who's going to sue?
Oh, probably the little fat kid from Hey Dad.
Well,
it would make for a hotly anticipated court case. The room would be packed. Forget about ABC versus Antoinette Lattouf. We want to see a little fat kid versus the muckrakers.
Also, I managed to bump into Santo, as mentioned before, and again, this was because like they had their bags, like Jane, Rob, and even Sam Neill, but they were all heading to the airport. And this happened. So this is Snato Garo.
Yes. You've misspelt it. That's not... Oh, I know. Yes. In fact, I bumped into a guy yesterday who said he's making a film and one of the characters is called Snato Garo.
Oh, that's fantastic. How do you feel like when people call you out like that? Dude, he's got to get on. Okay.
I got to get on a plane, apparently. Snato's got to fly.
Absolutely lovely.
That'll be the next T-shirt. Snato's got to fly.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I donned my T-shirt, my Late Show T-shirt, the modern one, and another person that I met there, listener Leanne Butterworth, she had her vintage Late Show T-shirt. So there's a photo of us standing next to each other, and then I actually had to go politely to Hershey, and also Santo joined into the conversation when I've gone, hey, look, see, comparison, that's the original. I've got the modern, the font's different. And but they Santa goes, no, that's the
we've got too many clips on this show.
Yeah, we do. But they as I was saying to Santo, like going, look, trick the A curl and stuff, and then Santo's just gone, oh no, that's the more modern font. So of the old font. So I'm going, okay.
The wrong one, Santo.
Yeah. Well, but both Hershey and Santo said that. So, but we did the comparison, say, you don't have to do it anymore, or otherwise they're going to be very annoyed about it. But they did. Hershey, I wish I recorded this, but he did mention something to me. It was so quick and brief, but you can thank the podcast, right? All of us. But they will be releasing more merch down the track. Classic merch.
Ooh. I'm so excited for a hat with actual embroidery and not like stuff on. Have you guys got it? It's just like this transfer. It's like you've done it in your...
Yeah, I wore it today actually. Yeah, the embroideries are the best, but I think they just have to do that whole print on demand business model, and that way they can release a whole lot of different designs, I think.
Well, Hershey did say that because of the fan base and everything. I'm just assuming there might be bar jar stuff coming out down the track.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway.
I was hoping for Bart Simpson underpants, but maybe not. Probably can't get the rights to that.
Not yet, anyway.
Hasn't been legal.
No.
You should have Mike Moore wigs.
Oh, there's an idea. But more will be revealed in a separate episode based around the Actors Awards, which Adele K. Thomas will be joining us to talk about. One more thing, we have here a bit of feedback, and I'm not going to play the pedantry thing again, but it was a good call.
No, I think I don't want to be hit with the pedantry stamp, Matt.
No, but Velvet Watermelon and Blue Sky called us out for our first episode back, and they said they just listened to the episode. Good to hear us back. Thank you. Alas, you didn't mention the biggest jaw dropper from the Frontline episode of Season 3, Episode 1, and that is Jace Speaks. So
we totally missed it.
Yes.
See, I was thinking it was this one because I heard him several times.
Yep.
But
he gets loads of dialogue in this one.
I must have missed it.
Yep. So shame on us.
In the previous episode, the only line Jace had last episode was nothing light, in terms of what type of beer he wanted for the Christmas party.
Oh, that's right. I remember that.
And we totally missed it.
Wow.
And we call ourselves super fans.
Yeah, it's our bad.
Yeah.
Well, I was too busy looking for Colin Conacher, but I think he's completely retired because of the new office.
Yeah.
Well, maybe he's finally fixed the photocopier and he doesn't need to come back.
Well, they've all moved to the internet. It's all email now.
Yeah, or the fact that he might have inhaled too much asbestos from the old office.
Oh, no.
It's all in this week's TV Week, packed with great family entertainment.
Oh, Jesus!
Daniel G, please bring on your program guide.
And I've been told to make this really quick too. So on ABC, after Frontline at 8, Four Corners at 8:30 and Media Watch at 9:15, we have a special on the ABC at 9:30, Alanis Morissette in concert. Recorded over 2 nights in October 96 at the Lakefront Arena in New Orleans, Alanis performs songs from her album, as Tom and Far would put it, Jiggle the Pole. Over on Channel 7, we've got Australia's Most Wanted at 7:30. Roger Clemson hosts the show where viewers actively participate in identifying and locating wanted or missing persons. Then at 8:30, we've got the AFL in Melbourne, the last game of the round of 16 in the Ansett Australia Cup, Brisbane versus Essendon. Prue, who do you think won out of those two, Brisbane or Essendon?
Essendon.
Nope, it was Brisbane 103 to Essendon 55 in front of 13,700 people at the Gabba. And over in Sydney, they got a movie, the 1994 movie Bad Girls. In 1890s Colorado, a whore kills one of her clients in self-defense. This is the SMH's words, not mine. And his widow hires some men to capture her dead or alive. The woman and 3 of her friends flee for a better life, starring Madeline Stowe and Andy McDowell.
Stowe and McDowell.
Together at last.
All right, over on SBS at 7:30, it's looking at the week in the National Soccer League, the Ericsson Cup. Then at 8:30, the final of a 3-part British documentary series called Soviet Echoes. Tonight's episode highlights the 2 great traditions of Russian music. What do you think they are, Matt?
Oh, no, I was going to say Tattoo, but that came out in the noughties. So I got my era wrong.
Is it Shostakovich and Tchaikovsky?
I don't have anything that detailed in the listings. The 2 great traditions are opera and piano, with tenor Ivan Kozlovsky and pianist Maria Udina.
Oh, her, that's right. Yes.
Yes, them, yes.
I get
Naturally.
it. Yeah.
Then at 9:30, it's a 1973 Taiwanese comedy drama movie called The Fate of Li Khan. 2 rival groups try to retrieve a secret map from a Mongolian baron. Over to Channel 9 at 7:30, we've got Friends. It's Season 2, Episode 11, The One with the Lesbian Wedding. It aired in the US over a year ago, 18th of January 96. Ross is invited to his ex-wife Carol's marriage to her lesbian life partner, Susan.
Have we run out of Lois and Clark episodes?
Not necessarily run out. It's just shifted to a different channel and a different night. Oh, no, actually, no. Sorry. It was on Channel 7. It's now on Channel 9.
Yeah, but a different night then.
And, yeah, different night now.
Bummer. So I really wanted to see how far it was.
She's my ex-wife. If she were marrying a guy, none of you would expect me to be there.
Hey, if she were marrying a guy, she'd be like the worst lesbian ever. No, I'm on right after this guy shoots himself. Whoa, she's pretty. She taught me all about, how to work with the cameras and smell the fart acting.
I'm sorry, what?
Excuse me? It's like you got so many lines to learn so fast that sometimes you need a minute to remember your next one. So while you're thinking of it, you take this big pause where you look all intense, like this.
Okay.
So that's the other thing in this episode. Joey makes his first appearance on Days of Our Lives as Dr. Drake Ramore, and shares that acting tip with the group.
Nice.
So moving on, at 8 o'clock, we've got Caroline in the City, Season 1, Episode 11, titled Caroline and the Gift. This is also about a year old. 4th of January 96 is when it aired in the US. Caroline, Leah Thompson, believes that Del, Eric Lutz, bought her an expensive gift, which turned out to be much, much more modest than she thought. Meanwhile, Richard, Malcolm Getz, paints a nude of a mobster's girlfriend, and Amy Pietz, tries to find a man she met at a New Year's Eve party. Then at 8:30, Water Rats. It's the second of a 2-part episode, Season 2, Episode 4, titled Jilted. Frank's involvement with Jennifer, a woman who is one of the suspects in her husband's murder, increases. Despite strong warnings from Rachel, Frank soon becomes a target himself, but is he being threatened by the killer or from the Melbourne detective obsessed with Jennifer himself? He is forced to learn a bitter truth that people are not necessarily what they seem. Ooh. Then there's another split at 9:30. In Melbourne, it's In Melbourne Tonight. And in Sydney, it's the first round of the Super League. It's Cronulla versus Canberra. Alison, who do you reckon won out of that? The Sharks or the Raiders?
Cronulla.
Correct. Or should I say lucky guess?
Wait, hold on. What Super League?
No, I know a great deal about rugby.
Yes.
I'm as a person who grew up in Adelaide, an AFL state, I know heaps about rugby.
Hey, you had Adelaide Rams, okay? You had Adelaide Rams in the Super League.
Who the hell are the Adelaide Rams?
Exactly.
Oh, I see. Again, that just demonstrates my huge knowledge of rugby.
So, Sharks won 26 to Canberra Raiders 4. And that was at the Sydney Football Stadium in front of 22,700. All right, and we finish off with Channel 10 and Healthy, Wealthy and Wise. And thankfully, it's a very short listing in the Green Guide here. Cherie looks at the healing properties of seaweed, Lynn visits Byron Bay, and Ian prepares a roast chicken. Not even for the show.
Is there seaweed, some of the health properties of seaweed incorporated into the roast chicken?
I'd like to think so, actually.
Might have cancelled everything out.
There's only two ways that I could think of seaweed being good for you. Either you put it on you or you put it in you. Don't be dirty like that. Come on, eating it. And that's the program guide. Now let's see if we can find any smell the fart acting in this episode.
Thank you very much, Daniel. Now, the pressure is off for everyone here because as part of the meet and greet Q&A thing at the Actors and on the Gold Coast, I managed to have a chat to a super fan who may feature in this episode, well, not in this episode, may feature in a future episode of the Champagne Comedy Podcast. And if you're a listener and you want to do your bit to and contribute, by all means, reach out to me, champagnelateshow@gmail.com, and I'll find a way to contribute if you've got a story or anything. But maybe someone like just a listener to start doing their Mike Moore impression. So, yeah, we'll make this nice and easy, nice and cruisy. Because I do have Leanne Butterworth, who I did meet then, who won the original T-shirt, the comparison thing. She managed to do this. So, ready, Leanne? 3, 2, cue in.
Hello, I'm Leanne Butterworth. This is Frontline, Season 3, Episode 2, My Generation. Broadcast Monday, March the 3rd, 1997.
Yay!
Great.
Look like a pro.
What a privilege, Leanne.
Epic work, Leanne. Thank you. As Leanne had said, My Generation and Season 3, Episode 2. The synopsis of this episode being, after giving a talk at a school, Mike becomes concerned that Frontline is presenting a negative view on young people, of young people. He sets out to fix the problem, but runs into a slight problem. His executive producer, Graham Prowse. As Prowsey would say, it's an episode no parent can afford to miss.
With the acronym.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, the old SNPCT-ATM.
Yes, that.
It's a real snappy acronym, that one.
100%. Well, the episode does open with Marty highlighting literacy issues within the teenagers, so I got a feeling that it might have been kind of set up, but here we go.
Mortgage. M-O-R-G-A-G-E.
Receipt.
R-E-C-E-T-E.
Budget.
B-U-G-E-T. Hang on, there's a D in it, is there?
I'm surprised I didn't get stuntman Rob to spell doubt.
I do have a slight bit of sympathy with these young people, partly because, you know, they've only, well, as we discover a bit later, they've only chosen the ones who get it wrong. But also, if you speak to anyone whose first language is not English, they will complain about words like mortgage, where, you know, it's not spelt how it sounds. And also, there's so many inconsistencies in the way that English words are written out, because it's such a mongrel language coming from all sorts of different other languages, that it is a real nightmare to actually spell stuff, even relatively short words like mortgage. You just have to remember how it is. So these kids were stitched up, is what I'm saying, which is which is totally the theme of the episode.
I still remember my primary school teacher, or one of them, I think it might have been in year 3 or year 4, and doing a spelling competition, right? And she couldn't, for the life of her, spell restaurant. So, yeah, just something like that. And she goes, I can't tell you how to spell it because I struggled, you know, how many R's in there? Probably 5.
Restaurant.
Yes. And it's like me, I struggle all the time with February. There's that bloody R, the first R.
February. You need to do the Pete Smith thing of saying that R. February.
Yeah.
I can't do it. He can.
like the 3-syllable Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday.
Oh, yes, the ABC pronunciation of that. Wednesday.
I'm pretty sure that if you listen to the From the Hideout podcast, they talk a lot about him being able to say Wednesday. I can't remember which episode, but they go into it in quite some detail.
Yeah, I had an aunt who could never get my late mother's first name spelled correctly. She would always, in like Christmas cards, every year it would be to Carloin.
What?
Carloyn instead of Olyn.
God.
So yeah, I think I can't think of one that I've got, but I'm sure we've all got one.
Oh, can I tell you one thing? Right. Okay, this is great. And well, to me, it's great because it was a prank, unintentional prank, which has lasted for many a year. So my surname, Fulton, Fulton. Now, with the way that I write, or when I scribble down my name and, writing in all in upper caps, and I write, I'm left-handed, and so I put down letters in a certain way on an angle. And I had written down, this was for a phone contract back in the day, and I had done it for, remember Orange? Remember that mobile phone company before it became Three and now it's non-existent? Well, I had Fulton, but then my L's occasionally look like C's. So when I've written it fast on an angle, it's like, cool, done. And then I was getting my statement, my bill all the time where it said Matthew Fucton. How would you pronounce my surname?
I don't know, but I think it's a synonym for a lot, isn't it? A fuckton?
And so when it only happened with that company, and then when I started getting, I didn't bother changing it, right? So I just always paid the bill. But then I started getting spam phone calls or marketing phone calls. And the people calling up, is Mr.
Say it.
Yeah. Fuckton there, please.
Were they able to say it?
A lot of them struggled, and as soon as they said when they were doing it, I got, yep, Orange sold my details. So that's where so that was the only way that I knew that.
That's an inadvertent way to know who they sold your details to.
So I had Fulton and Fuckton.
You should have gone like, it's bouquet. Right? It should have been, it's Futon. Or you should have claimed it's like a French sort of surname.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my story of pronunciation and spelling.
You won't be making that mistake again.
No. But it's a good way to find out who sells your data. Your details, Well, outside in the car park, Jace, Stu, Kate and Emma are having a bit of a puff, so to speak, and they were giving themselves a bit of a spelling challenge too. And Brooke enters the car park.
I smell that a mile away.
You want a drag?
I think I'd grow out of that phase.
Sorry, Brooke, we're all out of Coke.
Oh, you're so funny.
How do you spell Brooke? C-U-N...
I love how they're just able to sail so close to the edge.
Yes.
Keeping one that this would have been like 802.
Yeah, what was the rating on Frontline back then? Was it AO?
It would have been M, surely.
They had M back then, it was M.
Yeah.
It was rated PG.
Oh.
PG.
Oh, wow.
That one was PG.
Well,
not only that.
They were spelling country.
There's so much that they mentioned in this show.
Well, it could have been C-U-N-N-I-N-G.
Cunning, yeah.
Well, to be fair, kids, the youth can't spell, so they wouldn't have known where it was going. So.
Yeah. They would have just been like, yeah, they're smoking a joint and they're referencing cocaine.
Wow.
And then we almost got a see you next. Well, anyway, we know which day comes next.
Well, yeah.
And then later in the episode, they mentioned suicide like 100 times. I feel like the rating was totally different.
Wow, I never thought about that.
Yeah, there's no way you'd do that now.
Yeah.
Things were a lot more liberal back then.
Well, actually, it would have been more liberal now because I'm pretty sure that you can air. I'm pretty sure from 7:30 you can air much more risque stuff nowadays. I forget whether it's M or MA rated stuff they can show from 7:30 onwards.
It'll be M, and you can get a fuck in, like, say, 1, and then...
Oh, you can get one. Yeah, you can get away with one.
Yeah, like 1 or 2, and then after 8:30 or 9 o'clock, you can, it's no holds barred, no beg your pardons.
I'm pretty sure they couldn't have dropped the C-bomb at 7:30 still, but yeah, certainly a lot more liberal, especially because there's a lot of muted out swearing coming up in this episode as well.
Now we see Mike jamming away in his car, singing to Starship, We Built This City, until the radio announcers do interrupt.
Ouch! I think we've heard enough of our dad classic for this morning.
You know the scary bit? There'd be people singing along to that in their cars.
Now that is scary. You're with the Electric Blanket Breakfast with me, Keith Porter.
Me, Dave Disney.
And me, Kelly G.
Okay, let's head back into the 90s with Sonic Garden.
Now, there's a cameo by Tommy G.
Conica.
Yeah.
Tommy G.
I was trying to work out who well, obviously it's Tommy G and Jane Kennedy, but the other one, and I thought, is that Richard Stubbs? And I'm thinking it was probably not Richard Stubbs. Someone who sounds vaguely like Richard Stubbs.
Ooh.
Who is it?
Can you hear it again?
Yeah, sure, 1 sec.
Ouch! I think we've heard enough of our dad classic for this morning.
You know the scary bit? There'd be people singing along to that in their cars.
Now that is scary. You're with the Electric Blanket Breakfast with me, Keith Porter.
Me, Dave Disney.
And me, Kelly G.
Okay, let's head back into the 90s with Sonic Garden.
Is it Jace? Is it the bloke who plays Jace? Getting another bit of dialogue in.
Well, considering he already got how do you spell Brooke in the previous scene.
Well, hold on, I'll play that again.
It could be him.
1 sec.
I smell that a mile away.
You want a drag?
I think I'd grow out of that phase.
Sorry, Brooke, we're all out of Coke.
Oh, you're so funny.
How do you spell Brooke?
Ooh,
C-U-N.
No. But I'm going to play it one more time.
Ouch! I think we've heard enough of our dad classic for this morning.
You know the scary bit? There'd be people singing along to that in their cars.
Now that is scary.
So the first one...
It's definitely stumped all of us by the looks of it.
It sounds like...
if you were Dave Disney, call now.
Yeah.
At first I thought it was sounded like Marty Fields, but then the voice is a bit too dry.
It was probably just the audio technician or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what this podcast is about, overthinking and overanalyzing.
Yeah, poetry.
Yeah.
So that dad classic is kind of the equivalent of the Late Show's countdown classics, when they just take the piss out of the old songs. So it's nice to kind of
didn't they do that on the DJ and Breakfast Show as well? They would talk about songs being dad classics.
Yeah. They had a dad quiz, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, dad quiz, yeah.
Yeah. Also, how funny is the name of the show? The Electric Blanket Breakfast.
Sounds very
I think
triple R.
It's just because there were the Australian radio industry was awash with zoos and crews in the late 90s.
Zoos and crews.
You've turned off your electric blanket by breakfast. I just don't understand that at all.
They keep it going because they're so rock and roll.
Oh yeah.
But if that trio was still around nowadays, they'd be called Keith and Dave with Kelly G.
Yeah, that's still accurate. Wow, nothing's changed.
Yeah, there's a sort of every man, a sports bloke, and a woman who doesn't get a lot to do.
Dicko, Wacko, and the girl.
Yeah, pretty much.
Now, Daniel, you have discovered something. This is where physical media is really important. Don't mind me. Frontline.
Yes, speaking of overanalyzing, this is the only edit that happened for the remastered versions that are on ABC iView. So it's time for us to...
Edit it there.
Thanks, Hugh. So this is how the lead up to that scene as it appears on the DVD.
How do you spell Brooke? C-U-N.
I think we've heard enough of our dad classic for this morning.
And this is how it appears on iView.
How do you spell Brooke?
C-U-N. Wow, I think we've heard enough of our dad classic for this morning.
It sounds like a podcast edit there.
Yeah, I made the lazy mistake of watching the iView edit, so I was he was just such a quick cut to the end of that song. And
skipping about 11 and a half seconds of pure Starship there.
with Mike Moore rocking along to it, though.
I missed the rocking.
Yeah.
Do you think something's truly been lost in that edit?
Yep.
Yeah.
It kind of kneecaps the joke pretty much.
Yeah. That's the problem with these edits. I understand why they had to do it, but the original's better.
Yeah. I want a supercut of all the bits cut out, please. Let's have a link
there you
to
go,
that
Matt.
one
There's
next
your
week.
job. Supercut time.
Well, no, Daniel can gather them and then I'll cut.
Yay.
I know. I'm still making my way through this season in readiness for the podcast, which does involve having to have both the DVD and iView side by side on my computer.
Do you have to press play at the same time and make sure it's all synced up?
I try and do that, and I can also do a very quick double tap on the spacebar to try and do like a split-second pause to try and sync it up. So old school.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that because it's the attention to detail that what makes this podcast so appealing.
This is the shit we do for you, the listener. Never forget it.
Yes. What's the thing? We watched/listened/worked on it so you didn't have to.
Yeah, you just have to slog through 2 hours of us talking this crap.
Yeah. Now, we do have the next part, which is Emma calling out Prowsey for keeping the dumb ones in the spelling story. So, because there were heaps of others.
Of course they are.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And Prowsey claims that Frontline doesn't need the younger viewership. But you do cut to Mike, and he's a guest lecturer at the high school media studies class, and it doesn't go down too well.
My mum always says, "Are you on drugs?" It's because she watches Frontline. You always say, "Is your child on drugs?"
Yeah. That's enough.
No, that's fine. Good to get feedback. We value our younger viewers enormously, and I'll take that on board.
You don't understand kids.
All right, I'll stop you there. If you watch Frontline like everyone else here, you know we do lots of stories of real interest to kids. For example, I interview lots of hip musicians. Just last week I spoke to Krista Berg. Did you all see that? Hands up here who watches Frontline. It doesn't have to be every night.
Very awkward.
Was Krista Berg ever hip? Just putting that out there as a...
Not for our generation.
Oh, come on.
No.
Lady in Red. That was awesome.
Yeah, well, I found out that he's actually touring in Australia in May.
Oh.
Wow. Book your tickets now, everyone.
Well, one of the Sydney shows is sold out. I think he had to add a second one. So I also Googled how old he is, and he's 76 now. So when he was... back then in 97 he was the age I am now, which is a bit sad.
Did you just give yourself a reality check then?
Yeah, I just realised that we were all aging.
People in their 40s, in the mid to late 40s, this is our golden time, everyone.
It's just like, say, when Daryl Braithwaite, he had a resurgence with the younger demographic because of the horses. So
that's right. Yeah. So Krista Berg, he may well be hip nowadays. I don't know.
I don't think so. No. They're all listening to Charlie XCX.
but then those types of bands, the modern ones, will resample their old songs. And they go,
that's
wow,
right.
that sounds original.
Everything old is becoming new again.
Yeah.
What, you reckon Charlie XCX is trawling through old Krista Berg songs?
Why not?
I'm sure she is.
Yeah.
Pretty cool chick.
Nah, she's not.
But like, there's a lot of stuff in the charts that's referencing or sampling the old stuff. There's one that's sampling that Dirty Cash song. That
Dirty Cash, I want you. That one.
Is that like Stan Cash?
Oh, come on, that's 1990. That's at least before Like it's not like it's in the last 10 years that we don't know about. I'm finding it extremely ironic that all of us who are in our 40s are talking about what's hip.
I know, right?
But we clearly don't know.
No.
Yeah, we don't know.
We've heard of Charlie XCX, but there's loads of ones that we just haven't heard of, and that's exactly how it should be. We should not have heard of hip musicians.
Well, what about recently with, recently being about 5-6 years ago or whatever. Yeah, you had your Miley Cyrus sampling Fleetwood Mac, and then everyone's going, oh, that's original type thing with Flowers, and and then she did the duet, with the mashup with Stevie Nicks.
Wow.
Right? Oh, come on. Oh.
But yeah, like
that's how updated I am.
There's always going to be a new/remix version of Dreams or Fast Car or what's another one?
The Recession rap. Come on, Charlie XCX, remix the Recession rap if you dare.
I mean, I'm just having a look at the latest ARIA chart here, and God, Iris and Riptide are both still in the top 40.
Iris and
Like
Riptide.
Iris by the Goo Goo Dolls and Riptide by Vance Joy, and they're years old.
What?
And they're at 36 and 31 respectively.
What's number one?
Number one is...
It's not fucking Ed Sheeran, is it?
No, it's Missy by Lola Young.
That is a new awesome podcast name. Fucking Ed Sheeran.
Yeah. Yeah. I assume that's not Lola Young, who appeared in the sitcom Metal Mickey and is now a baroness. So I'm assuming it's a different one. Although, who knows?
You're asking the wrong person there, Alison.
The most obscure reference I'm ever going to do on this podcast.
Yeah, and you've had quite a few obscure references, but that's probably the most obscure one.
Well, to be fair, Metal Mickey was on Australian television. I'm clearly the only one here who ever watched it.
No, I watched it. I'm just looking at the
I only know that it's a children's TV robot from Britain.
It was the best.
That's it.
But I'm just looking at the
That's all I know. That's all I want to know.
There is a song there by Billie Eilish called Birds of a Feather.
I was about to say that.
Yes, it's at the moment.
Yeah.
Talking about resampling things.
Oh.
Well, I hope my 15-year-old doesn't listen to this thing. It's going to be very...
No one should be listening to this conversation.
No. Billie Eilish.
Sad old people go through the charts and get confused. This is...
Well, even going through the charts is old.
I will admit that sort of getting older does come with the realisation that, the stuff that's in the current charts is not for you. The stuff in the Hottest 100... I know it's not for me either, so I'm resigned to
sticking to your Krista Berg albums,
sticking to your Gold FMs and your Smooth FMs, and
when music was music.
Today Nova is no longer for us.
Well, I don't know. When you mention Miley Cyrus, I just think of her father, Billy Ray Cyrus, which makes me think of Achy Breaky Heart, which makes me think of Ouchie Ouchie Heart. And so,
Thank you for bringing it back to the topic of the podcast.
Yes.
A fun fact about that scene, I'm pretty sure that is shot at Melbourne Boys High. Seems to be their uniform.
Mm-hmm.
I can confirm that because there is a thank you in the credits to Melbourne High School.
Now, there's a part-time job advertisement for the Frontline office, a junior researcher assistant, basically a role to be Mike's dry cleaning assistant / shit kicker. Hey, I'd do that job if I was a kid. Now, production meeting time, and there's a bunch of adult contemporary musicians up for an interview. So, 3 tenors and Harry Connick Jr.
Anne Murray.
Yeah, but every time they talk to Harry Connick Jr., he gets spoken over every... fine, forget it.
The trumpet drowns
Thank you. There we go. I was going a long way around that.
I thought you were going to suggest that maybe someone was going to appear on blackface and he...
That was rattling through my brain.
Oh, wrong era.
Given that we're talking 1997 here, there's a higher probability of that happening.
Yeah. And well, the only thing that he
Well,
was,
you'd have thought they would have not been doing that in 2010, but yeah.
Wait, 1997.
Yeah, I kept forgetting how recent that was, and I thought it was something that happened in the 90s. I just completely
15 years ago.
Yeah, I completely didn't realize it was that recent.
Well, Brooke has a story that's on an up-and-coming teenage grunge band, Sonic Garden, which you heard during the little radio bit too.
Teen grunge band Sonic Garden
Fast forward.
have run into controversy.
Rewind. Pause.
Their latest single has been banned by several large music chains after being linked with teenage suicide.
Show me that photo again. All right, see what you can come up with. You know what I want.
Swearing, drugs, wild sex.
Yeah, but don't make the whole story about yourself.
You are so hilarious.
It's a gift.
All right, let's hit the suicide theme. Kids being influenced. Make it an SMPC ATM.
A what? A story no parent can afford to miss.
All in unison. Marty's story involves a guy running a kitchenware business with junior sale jobs available, but no one will take the positions. I wonder why. Prousey asks Marty for advice on how to handle Emma with working roles, because Emma's too smart and he's backing the younger audience that Frontline desperately needs. But Prousey is aiming for the older demographic, you know, the ones that like Harry Connick Jr. and the Three Tenors, and also Krista Berg.
And yeah, basically this is sort of the once every season scene. Basically, what's the deal with Emma?
Yeah.
As Marty says, every EP we've had asks that question.
Mike returns to the office. His radar thinks that Frontline is not paying attention to the younger viewers. And did anyone notice in the background on the wall?
Oh, the Brett Whiteley painting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was in last episode too. I wonder if that's a original.
Yeah, I didn't spot that last episode, but yeah, that does look like an original. That is the working dog office that they shoot the show in. Is that something they had hanging there, or is it a prop? What is it? Interested.
Did anyone watch that Brett Whiteley documentary that was on iView?
Yeah, some time ago.
No, so I'm afraid I don't know Brett best.
Yeah.
We were all waiting for somebody to say it. I know.
Perfect. Mike and Prousey are brainstorming stories.
All kids these days have computers, and they're all on...
Desks?
No. The internet.
Oh, yeah.
There could be a good youth story there.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, there was a report the other day about kids who learned to make bombs on the internet.
Bombs. Right. Another good youth story. It's not hard when we put our heads together. Good. I'm feeling a lot better. The old radar is shutting on down.
I like how we've used that. It's a positive story. Kids are learning to make bombs. You can tell this is pre 9/11, can't you? They're just going, oh, bombs, brilliant. Yeah.
I know. Isn't it amazing to have such nostalgia for kids using the internet for that compared to everything that they're able to do with the internet nowadays?
I still remember at school a friend brought over a certain cooking book that they don't say any more than that.
It's cooking book.
I just told you not to say anything.
When Mike Moore was struggling to find the words, like what are the kids on these days? I thought, oh yeah, he's going to try and say MySpace or something. But no, it's the actual internet.
The actual internet, about 10 years before MySpace.
The World Wide Web is what he should, or the information. They're all on the information superhighway.
Yeah.
The other thing
about doing donuts.
The other thing though is like the internet broke really in about 95. So like Frontline, kind of like their audience is 2 years behind. You know, because this is 97.
All the Silverchair references are so old-fashioned in this episode.
Yeah,
as well.
like Silverchair was
97.
Like 95 and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. What does seem quite current though is all the stuff about, you know, young people not being able to get jobs because
dead set.
You know, I mean, probably I'm not the only one on this podcast who came out of university roughly around this time and then entered the job market. And yeah, that was, I can really relate to the massive line of kids in this episode just
Oh,
all
yeah,
waiting for a job.
definitely.
You know, it was really
I mean,
hard
this
then.
whole thing was like about a year or so after that whole Paxton doll bludger thing, and
Yeah.
people saying that you can't, the youth can't get a job. And actually, that was a current affair. And Mike Munro talking to the Paxtons and kind of making it sound like they were all lazy and couldn't get out of bed. And then I think they tried to set up a job for them, which was like 2,000 kilometres away.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see the Paxtons are kind of obliquely referenced in this episode, but they are more explicitly referenced in a future episode.
Yeah, so it's kind of the precursor to that.
But
I
yeah,
guess.
they mentioned the youth unemployment rate.
32%.
32%. And I'm like, fuck. I was freaking out, and I Googled it, like, what was the youth unemployment? And it was.
Yeah.
And that's
it really
unbelievable.
was. Yeah.
And now it's like 8.5 or something. It's totally...
Yeah.
I mean, it was a few years before 97, but I couldn't get a job at McDonald's.
Oh. No.
They looked down their nose at me.
Wow.
So yeah, it was tough times.
It was really tough, and the fact that a lot of all of the media really, like the Murdoch papers and other current affairs shows, were all doing these stories about how terrible kids are. I don't know about anyone else here, but that really put me off. Basically, like Murdoch papers and these commercial current affairs shows, and now I don't engage with them. And still, friends of mine who experienced all the same things that I did in the 90s, they never buy newspapers, they don't watch these programs, they don't listen to talkback radio, you know, and they've got put off them for life, and they don't need to. And actually, they just get all this stuff from the internet, you know, all their news from the internet, and there are lots of really good news sources now from the internet. And so, you know, these
information superhighway.
Yeah, well, from the information superhighway. Yeah,
it's so true though. Like this is so triggering, this episode, because I mean,
really
we were the youth basically, and it's like, oh, that's exactly why I will never watch Channel 9. And in fact, I warm my hands on their fire. Like, I'm so glad they're burning to the ground. I don't care. Goodbye.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, they started pissing off young people at exactly the same time that a viable alternative, the internet, appeared.
Yeah.
And
So
this is why
they're.
I'm surprised that they're still in business, to be honest, these media organizations, because they're at the point now when the only people engaging with them are like 65 plus.
Just like it was back then.
Yeah, who would have been in their 20s back then. Or
Yeah.
I was looking through some archives at work, and I saw someone had printed out back in the late 90s a lock picking guide. So it was this like really thick chunk of like how to pick locks, and I was reading it going, this is actually quite interesting, but it was educational.
Look up on TikTok. There's a account called Lock Picking Lawyer, and every lock that he has, like, he's an expert lock picker, and he's like 30 odd years or whatever, and he's created it like it's called a Genesis tool, and but basically this one tool which unlocks every lock, and it's just incredible. So, and he challenges companies who design padlocks and stuff, as like, give it to me and I reckon I can break it, and he does.
So it's like kind of like the Golfomatic, but it's a lock. just trying to bring this back to topic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, so we should
I really
get
think
back on
that
topic.
should be Working Dog's next merch, the Golfomatic.
The Golfomatic.
All right, back on topic.
Yeah, back on topic. Brooke and Kate are researching Sonic Garden.
I can't understand one word. Why did they put lyrics on this CD?
I think that was a suicide reference.
I'll play it again.
You play it again and I really will feel like committing suicide. Stu, Jace, let's go. Travelling.
Does anyone know a teenager?
Isn't Mike dating one?
I heard that, Marty. Celeste is 20 in June.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now there's a bomb that they just drop, and then we never hear anything more about this again.
Yeah.
I will admit, seeing Brooke try and decipher lyrics from that grunge CD, it's reminding me a hell of a lot of that song "Louie Louie" by the Kingsmen.
Louie, that.
Yeah, everybody thought that they were like dropping obscene references and stuff. They just weren't enunciating correctly. Apparently, the FBI had tried to work out the lyrics and concluded that it was unintelligible at any speed.
Interesting.
Diction, everyone.
Yep.
It's important. Well, Krista Berg would say that.
Mike tells Emma that they need to be doing more stories for the younger audience, obviously. Marty's story, though, on the sales business, turns out to be a bit of a scam where you need to buy $300 worth of samples and sell them to earn your commission. That's, yeah.
But they'll conveniently leave that bit out of the news piece.
Yes. Yeah. If you read Hannah Gadsby's autobiography, she actually got caught up in a scheme like that because, well, I think it was the
No, it's not a scam, it's corporation.
Yeah, she got caught up in a corporation like this where she had to buy knives and sell them. And anyway, if you read her autobiography, there's a story about that.
Wow. Sure they're not talking to Jeff and Terry Bailey there.
Well, were they ever based in Tasmania? Probably not.
No.
Maybe for tax reasons. I don't
know. Now, after Marty's story goes to air...
So, what do you say when people talk about the massive rate of youth unemployment?
It's kids. They don't want to work.
Martin D'Stasio with that report. And with almost 90,000 young Australians looking for work, the question has to be asked, where are they?
Well, the next day, the office is full of teens applying for the shit kicker position.
And you can tell that they are really into Frontline because, if they had seen that last night's program, they probably wouldn't have shown up.
Exactly, yeah.
I love the way all those kids have matching manila folders, like all the different colours.
Manila folder and the plastic sleeves.
This is back in the day when you couldn't submit it via email.
Yeah, it's a physical application that you post in. Yeah. But I do remember like new businesses would start up or other businesses would advertise a job and you would see these lines of kids all lining up. Yeah, depressing.
I'm currently on the job market at the moment, and one of the things I've been told is that basically any resumes you submit, they're not going to be read by a human first thing.
Yeah.
They're going to be read by computers, AI, that kind of stuff. And
depends on the job, mate. Some of us don't have the tech.
So
they're screaming, meet the key selection criteria.
Basically this means I'm going to have to put a whole bunch of search engine optimization terms.
That's right. Yeah, you've got
white text on a white background in order for me to get noticed by a computer, in order to get to the next round of whatever.
Yeah.
So
best of luck with that,
for
Daniel.
The good old days. I think that's going to be the theme for this episode. Back in my day.
Back in my day. Now, Mike is in Jeff's office and his radar is up.
What's the matter, Mike?
It's just
It's up again, is it?
It's got a few fees. You can probably placate them. Do you think many young people watch Frontline?
No.
I said placate, Jeff.
Oh, well, maybe I'm wrong.
I think you are. Yeah. I mean, we do lots of stories about kids.
Yep, you're always getting stuck into them.
Placate, Jeff. P-L-A-K-A-T-E. You're doing the you're displacating.
Right.
No.
Love the misspelling.
Yep.
Displacating. I'm not sure that's a word, but I like it anyway.
I love how quickly Santo goes, no.
Yeah, we just have to agree with what Mike's saying.
Oh, Brooke rocks up to the hotel room to interview Sonic Garden.
What do you say to the parents of the teenager who took his own life after listening to your single?
Well, they don't know it was because of the single. There was no real link.
So you don't care an innocent boy took his own life inspired by your lyrics?
Like we said, it wasn't our song that had
Well,
anything
how many
to do.
more young people have to die?
Wait a minute. We're trying to say that there's no link. I thought we were going to talk about the album and the tour.
No, what you're saying is you think it's okay for young people to commit suicide. You want them to kill themselves.
It's bullshit. It's bullshit. It's so what the f*** are you on?
Excellent. Okay, now get some shots of the beer and the cigarettes.
Well, there you go. That was self-censorship there.
Yeah, isn't it nice of the Sonic Garden boys not to drop the F-bomb?
Yeah.
They didn't say fuck, they said f.
They don't know what the f is wrong with their voice.
They're not that hard if they can't say fuck.
Well, Mike presents the story thinking that it's positive, only to discover that Brooke has changed the vision of the story to make it about teen suicide.
It's a beautiful tone change.
Oh,
it's amazing.
It's more visual than anything, so I decided not to use it as a grab.
I don't know if this is true for the rest of the series, but yeah, Mike will read anything on that auto cue and not think about what he's saying, because I would have thought he would have gotten it just before when he reads, "It's not all good news." You don't say "it's not all good news" in a happy voice.
Yeah, he's not reading ahead at all. And I think in the first season when he had the other intern kind of coming in and asking about the auto cues, and he just admitted that he never read them. So it looks like he has no prep.
I like the bit at the start where he's spelling break and they actually spell it out for him.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Have to make sure that he gets that right.
Yeah.
Asking somebody to spell anything out is fraught with danger. I'm pretty sure, wasn't there a Philadelphia mayor or something in the week leading up to the Super Bowl who absolutely stuffed up spelling out Eagles?
Did she spell it G-O-G-G-O?
Well, listen, we've got to do this. Let me hear you all say E-L-G-S-E-S, Eagles! Let's go, Birds!
The next day, Mike's radar is up and tells Prowsey that there is not enough positive youth stories.
I know kids can be lazy, ignorant, foul-mouthed drop kicks, but we got to respect kids, or else they won't respect us.
There you go, Mr. Moore.
Where's the other one?
I don't know.
There were two. Go back and get the other one.
Oh, dear.
Poor girl. And
she also looks about like 12, that kid.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was deliberate or not.
Prowsey hits the panic button with Emma to try and deliver a positive story on the youth. And she starts rattling off about the number one student in the country, perhaps, because all the Year 12 scores have come out. And then,
yeah, a bit of casual racism. Wow.
Yep. And so they decide to go on the fifth, who is the first Anglo-Saxon listed on that. Wow.
And isn't she fun?
What a nerd.
Yeah.
With her church youth group, study groups or whatever it was.
Well, she'll definitely...
The secrets of her success: hard work, a good family, and being a prefect.
Yeah.
So being quite well off and going to a private school then, by the sounds of it.
All this reminds me of is these occasional news articles that come across about a really young person who owns, a dozen or so properties, and it's usually buried well deep down in the article that they've had a little bit of help from the bank of mum and dad.
Yeah. Whenever you see that headline, you just skim down to the end where it talks about.
You know it's coming.
It's like the cooking. You've got to skip down to the recipe after the whole
inherited
life story.
$3 million from Rich Aunt, and you think, oh, go away.
Yeah.
Like, well done, but. Yeah, that's
not a
secret.
Not even well
success.
done. Sell them to people who need to stop renting. Full communism now.
Well, it's Friday night, and you know what that means.
But as always, to take us out, it's Friday Night Funny Man, Elliot Rhodes.
Yo, bro, I'm just 19. Spend all day glued to the screen. I got no schooling, I got no job. Yes, you told me
Rap. Kids are going to love this. Oh, what time are you on the Young Entertainers?
7:30.
7:30. Right. Did what's her name get both of them suits?
Jenny.
Yeah, did she get both of them suits?
Apparently there was only one.
Oh.
And he just goes,
Oh, okay, whoops.
No apology, nothing.
Yeah.
And again, showing that...
Rap is what, like at least 15 years old at this point? Yeah.
But he did some scratching.
Yeah.
He wasn't actually scratching. He was kind of air scratching or something, wasn't he? He was kind of like waving.
I just like that scene where Mike's talking about his dry cleaning and just it punctuated by "Yo, bro."
A recession rap.
That is not a patch on the recession rap.
Oh, sorry. I was casting a spoon.
Oh, don't you start.
And it's like, once again, Mike's just not listening because he thinks the kids are going to love Elliot's rap, even though it's, to use the parlance of today's times, dissing them.
There should be like a rival satirist on another program who does like a diss track. They didn't really have disses in those days, or maybe they did.
The disc placate track.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
And look, we finally got someone who decided to apply for a job. I don't know how to... Oh, screw this. We've got Adele who's come in.
Personal shit kicker. Welcome, Adele.
Hello. Thank you for having me back. It's good to be here.
And so you just applied for the junior role for the shit kicker. And
yeah, okay, sure. We'll go with the theme of my day.
Yeah, Adele, I'd like a cappuccino with almond milk. If they don't have almond milk, I'll settle for coconut.
Oh, look, it's either full cream or milk with water, which we call skim.
We're in the kitchen and Prowsey is telling the boys about how he saw Elle Macpherson topless. What a riveting story. I'm being sarcastic there, by the way.
Yeah, the ladies are really impressed by this story.
Yeah, this is very much that kind of old school party where the men are on one side and the women are on the other.
Yeah.
Or just a classic 90s workplace.
Yeah. Yes. And Prowsey has a story for Marty to do.
I just walk into a nightclub and buy drugs.
No, you take one of the chicks, Emma.
I'm not going. No way.
Well, Dom can go.
Oh, unreal. Where am I going?
We sneak the camera into the club, we film someone selling crack.
We don't have crack in Australia.
You haven't seen the guy that fixes them a fridge.
Eggies.
Eggies.
Whatever. Shell, just give us a top-up, love. We show parents just how easy it is for their kids to buy drugs.
As opposed to what you're drinking now.
Hey, Missy, one big difference, this is legal.
No, it isn't. It's stolen from sales.
It's unlike that whoopee weed you get stuck into in the car park. Yeah, drugs will screw you up, Emma.
Dope is a natural herb, Prowsey.
Don't give me that shit. And don't come crying to me when you start sticking needles up your arm.
Oh, you sound just like my father.
Obviously a smart bloke.
Oh, you just missed out Jace's other line.
Oh.
Saturday night's huge.
That's right.
Did we all notice that there's a massive poster for the castle in the back of this scene?
No, I didn't.
No.
Yeah,
actually, I did, but it didn't click.
Yeah.
Wow. But did you notice that there was so much product on the table when they were consuming all the Pringles and beer and stuff like that? I don't know how they got away with those brands.
Who says you can't advertise on the ABC?
Plenty of product placement there.
Yes.
And the castle poster.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because that came out in 97. I see.
So Mike's on TV as a judge for the Young Entertainers talent show, and
where they screw these kids up is with the judging. You know, they say they got a lovely smile, they're beautifully groomed.
Everything's Silverchair, isn't it?
Yeah, they're the ones making millions.
Silverchair.
Act 1 it was, 15-year-old Katrina Lambert with Singing in the Rain. Mike, what did you think about Katrina?
Excellent, Greg. Excellent, Katrina. I thought you present well. Got a bright personality, beautiful smile. Let's see more of it. I thought you were beautifully groomed as well. I love the choice of song, a real toe tapper. And my radar is saying, you're going to be a star. I've given you 83.
Talent, naught.
Yes, it's at the opposite end of the spectrum to Bernard King, isn't it?
What's that? Total 10 for
generosity.
I've got the bloody T-shirt. Why?
Yeah, you made
I made the T-shirt of it. I couldn't remember.
83 is very specific, isn't it?
Yeah,
So.
totally nil. And so...
Greg Evans is the host of the show, in case anyone didn't pick that up.
It was a very subtle little display of how irrelevant to the youth that kind of programming was. It's like, yeah, sure, it's a young person, but young people, like 90s kids, don't give a fuck about those shows.
Yeah.
Like, new faces.
Well, with Saturday night, Dom, Jason, Stu and Marty have hit over 8 different nightclubs, and Dom hasn't found anyone to sell her any eckies, or eggies, as Prowsey calls it.
How many Midori illusions was she able to obtain? That is my question.
Or Bacardi Breezes or vodka Cruises.
Yeah.
Or
Sub-Zero.
Sub-Zeros.
Yeah, few Sub-Zeros.
Lemon Ruskies.
Bit of rhubarb if you're going obscure.
Oh,
I
Passion
know the
Pop.
Sub-Zeros are back now, but they're cola flavoured. I remember they were like a colourless liquid alcoholic.
Oh.
Sub-Zero. Yeah, they were like lemonade.
Yeah.
They were taken off the market because they ruined your stomach lining.
Yeah.
Well, that was because
they're
people
back
would
now.
put like other shots in it so that it would
Use it
be,
as a
like,
mixer.
Just,
Yeah.
yeah.
Ah, that stuff is dangerous.
Anyway.
They're out of tape, so Stu tells Jace to hand over the pills which he's got. Yeah, it's about who you know.
He wants them back, though. He
Yes.
wants them back.
Marty does pocket
Yeah,
them.
he gets another 2 lines for a grand total of, I think it's 4 so far this episode.
There should be a little bell that goes off every time he has.
I'm going to have to do that.
Counter in the corner.
Too many sound effects.
Yeah. And while Dom drags Marty into the nightclub because her favourite song is on, which is Dom the party girl. She's going off.
Which does make me wonder about Marty as well. Like, I don't see him as the partying type.
Nah, he's not a nightclub guy.
If there was any dance he was doing in a nightclub, it'd be the weatherman dance. Melbourne.
And he's entering a nightclub in full
Darwin.
office gear as well.
Meanwhile, the office has just discovered a young upcoming rock band, which happens to be Silverchair.
These kids from Newcastle have already sold 120,000 albums in America alone.
They look about 15. Bit old for you, Brooke.
Morning, all.
Hi, mate.
Who's the band?
Silverchair.
Look at them. Long hair, greasy, unkempt.
83 out of 100, Mark?
Bit lucky to get 3 out of 100. Where have I heard of them before?
They're ahead of you on the BRW Richest Entertainers list.
Oh, that's all the cheap. That was combined income.
What time do I have to go?
Now?
Rolling Stone. Who reads that crap?
There's an article on us.
Really? Where?
Oh, it's really small.
No, give us a look.
It's nothing
Give us a
really.
look.
It's not
Give
worth
us-
reading.
Give us
It's
a
really.
look. Give us a look. Give that to me.
And just for your information, I tried to buy that issue of Rolling Stone for this episode, but I didn't have a spare $45 that was on eBay. It's Rolling Stone Australia, issue 532. Marty's hungover now and trying to do his takes with the Eckies, and is constantly getting interrupted, much to his dismay. And Stu and Jace have to run, so Marty puts the pills in his top drawer for safekeeping.
Because Jace wants them back.
Yeah.
I love such an obvious plot point like that. It's like, I see what's going to happen here.
Yeah, I mean, this next 5 minutes is going to just go by so quickly.
Mike reads Prowsey the Rolling Stone story on Frontline.
Rock and roll journalist having a go at us. The darling of the blue rinse set, Mike Moore and his band once again sink their boots into anyone foolish enough not to have been born before the war.
Soft cock.
Soft cock.
Yeah, you obviously didn't see your interview with Krista Berg.
Yeah. But why us, Prowsey? Why is Frontline always the whipping boy?
What do you think?
Huh? What do I think?
They attack a vulnerable target.
Me?
Yeah. Knowing it will be popular with their readers.
Right.
It works. And pretty soon they're doing it every week.
You know their game so well.
Oh, well,
No, you pick their technique like it's your own.
No, it was your radar, mate.
Oh, well, I almost missed it.
And Mike subtly complains that he's got a headache. And in makeup, Emma and Brooke are arguing, which triggers Mike's headache a bit further. And Shelley looks for some aspirin and innocently picks up some tablets found in Marty's drawer, which Mike ends up taking. Gee, wonder where this is going to lead to.
Yeah.
I love a pill switcheroo.
Yeah, I'm great. Great show.
Mike.
I'm Mike
4,
Moore.
3.
I love this. Good evening, I'm Mike Moore, and I'm so pleased to be with you tonight. We've got such a good show. People have worked so hard on it, and I love it.
And which Brooke suddenly takes over after the opening titles.
I'm actually, some of you might be watching season 3 of the Newsreader at the same time as watching this, and I'm seeing parallels to people going on air when they're in various states of intoxication or kind of effects of drugs, and there's a few close calls there.
Oh yeah, that's the old Mike Willisey moment.
Yeah.
I will say I absolutely love the stupid grin that Mike gives Emma sort of looking up at her.
Oh, isn't that beautiful?
First thing in that scene.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
As well as the little cameo by Annie Maver.
Yeah, I thought that was Annie Maver, especially when...
Come here.
Yeah. Annie, I love you. And
She's Annie Maver, incidentally, another person who got thanked by Working Dog at their actor acceptance speech.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, I actually watching this inspired me to go and find the Willisey clip, and yeah, he is very visibly drunk on air.
Mike Willisey admits he had a problem with drinking during his life, but he blamed medication and not booze for being tired and emotional one night while presenting.
Stan Pryor's talent for belting out a tune on his trusty old corner. I shouldn't be laughing, but I'd already thought of something funny to say as part of this introduction.
I had 2 scotches and 2 Valium.
So, could I start this all again?
Bloody hell. Good old Willisey.
Oh, those were the days.
This is it. I think more people should get drunk and go on television because, you know, it's funny and it's memorable. more Chopper Read incidents.
Yeah.
Why should all the drunkenness be confined to comedians recounting pieces of history?
Yeah. Well, you already got Chopper, who was drunk when he was being interviewed by Elle McFeast, and then you got Carl Stefanovic, who was short-circuiting after a Logies night. So, you know...
Oh, yeah, it can't be Carl. That I can't watch.
But did anyone watch all the way through the credits for the mid-credit scene?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Isn't it amazing what Mike Moore is like when he's high?
Dancing with the camera.
Singing the Love Boat theme. Another DAG classic.
Yeah.
That concludes Frontline Season 3, Episode 2, and also the Champagne Comedy Podcast, Episode 68. And, thank you very much for listening to this. And if you're lucky and if you still can tolerate us, feel free to listen to an extra bonus episode that I'm releasing straight after the actor episode, which is just a rundown of what was awesome on the actor Working Dog Festival, we should say. So the Festival of the Dog. Anyway.
And if anything, this will be a bit of a palate cleanser before the next episode we have to do, which has a lot of Pauline Hanson in it.
My eyes.
Yeah. See, this is where we have to watch it, so you didn't have to.
That's right.
Yeah.
But then you've got to listen to some grabs.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, as always, thank you for coming on, Alison, Daniel, Kim, and Prue. Wow, Prue, way to...
Yeah. Prue's back.
Yeah, it's really good to see you.
Thanks for coming back.
Yeah, and also, and discreetly, also Adele, who contributed to this whole episode from the very start.
You're welcome.
Fantastic. All right, I'm Matt. Feel free to reach out to us, email champagnelateshow@gmail.com, Facebook and everything. And we'll catch you next time. Valet, Philip Brady.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Champagne Comedy Podcast, created by fans for the fans. For more information on this podcast, please visit champagnecomedy.com. Produced by Matt Fulton Productions, mattfulton.com.au.
It's not the same without Mick here. Can Joe upstairs? Can we please bring in the emergency sidekick? Can we do that, please? Can we do? Yes, Mr. Philip Brady. Phil, it's Philip Brady. Well done. Well, thanks for coming along. Well, you know, how long have you been up there?
22 weeks I've been sitting up there waiting to
We finally got round to you.
22 weeks.
Okay,
and it's really good to be... Oh, what a show we've got tonight, folks. We've got the Commercial Crime Stoppers Awards for you. Yep. We have the Countdown Classics to look forward to. There's Graham and the Colonel. The Oldies finale. Bobby Frente.
That's the one! What's that? That's the one! Oh, my God.
Officer, it's him, Philbo. Phil Brady, he left this lying menacingly in the hallway. Didn't you, Philbo? Oh, Mick. I told Graham Kennedy warned me about this. He said you'd do it to get your mate on telly. All right, Mick, What'd you do it for? What'd you do it for, Philbo? I confess, it's true, Mick, it's true. But it wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for those meddling kids. It wouldn't have happened.
I can't believe it. Oh. Thanks. Take it away.
Hey, guys.
Surprise!
Jesus Christ! Phil Brady!
I thought I could do one of those big musical finales, you know. And now here's Philip Bailey. Oh, I thought you said Philip Brady.
No, remembers Philip Bailey? No. Well, if you're going to enjoy the Olympics at home, there's a few simple things you're going to need. Firstly, a few close friends who are prepared to camp in front of the telly for at least 15 hours at a time. I've got 4 friends around today. Firstly, Mickey.
Out of the way, Tone. I'm watching the footy.
Darren.
G'day.
There's Jace.
G'day.
And Mr. Philip Brady.
Oh, hi. How are you?
Okay, we're ready for business, and here comes our first customer, and what do you know, it's Mr. Philip Brady. Our celebrity stooge here this evening. And of course, it's my job to make it virtually impossible for him to actually join up. Right, so we're going to need 2 forms of identification. The first should be fairly straightforward. Have you got your driver's licence?
Oh,
there,
sure.
sir?
That's easy.
Right, okay, terrific.
Sure.
Now, the second should be a little bit more difficult to obtain. Have you got a copy of your grandmother's birth certificate initialed by a Justice of the Peace, Philip?
Well, actually, I have.
Oh, do? Right, sometimes a third form of identification may be required. We're going to need a King George V mantelpiece from your ancestral home in the Welsh Highlands, if that's all right.
Teak or mahogany finish?
Ironbark, if you've got it, Philip. Thanks very much. Ah, yes, well, that should do the trick, and I'll just have your membership card laminated for you. There you go, Phil. Oops, pardon me. Thanks for taking...
Hot card. Hot card. Hot card.
That's a strikingly simple performance there. Thanks, sir. Terrific stuff. Send in your Logie forms now. I don't want to break the party up, but we've got a show to do. Hello? Hang on. What's happened to Philip Brady? Have you seen Philip?
Yeah, Phil did drop in. Yeah, I think he's through here, guys. Yeah, just down the corridor. To your left, Tone.
Phil. Back chat. Phil. Dressing room, this. Oh, no. Phil, what are you doing?
Oh, Mick, don't be a
You promised to be good. Look, this may have gone on in the IMT days, Phil, but not here. Now get off the bed.
This is a real McCoy, mate.
Off the bed, come on.
Shazam! Yeah!
Go get
Well, Graham.
This is Graham.
And, I'm the Colonel. Oh, yes, you mightn't recognise me. Just because I've got dimples doesn't mean a thing.
Something looks different about you today, Colonel.
I don't know why it would, Graham.
You imposter! Oh, not again!
I'm sorry, you're going to have to sit there where our work experience kid sits.
Would have got away.
Excuse me, that is the Colonel's seat.
Meddling kids.
Unbelievable.
Take a banana peel with you. The line didn't work earlier tonight, either. Guys, I don't think I've told you this story about Graham Kennedy and the night he was going to do a big production number. Yes, Phil. Well, this will be a news story for you. Tony Lamont was starring in the Pajama Game at Her Majesty's Theatre, and she... We know, Phil. Guys, I'm sure this will be a new one to you. I was comparing in Melbourne tonight. I was doing it on my... Phil, shut up. Shut up.
Jesus. Hey, Myrtle, you know the rules. No smoking at the back of the bus.
Guys, this isn't tobacco. Shame.
Just flown in from Sydney, and boy, are our arms tired. Jace, I understand you've just eaten.
Yes, Mickey, I had lunch at the canteen, and I've got to tell you, Mick, the food at the canteen, it's fit for a king. Here, King. Here, King. Here, King.
Oh, guys, that's a beauty. But have you heard this one about the young honeymooners who didn't know the difference between Vaseline and putty? Their windows fell out.
Oh, my aching sides.
Have a look out here to the right. Oh, Phil, what are you doing? Oh, come on, Mick. It's my moon face impression.